You're still watching News Desk here on Joy News. Now, away from that, let's do some other stories. Let's now turn our attention to electricity. And now, the Millennium Development Authority, MEDA, has given assurance staff of Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, will not be laid off under the power compact government intent signing with the private partner in transforming the power management company. Now, government, through the Ministry of Power, ECG and MEDA, has issued a request for expression of interest from local and international companies to identify a qualified private partner to invest in the company and as well operate the distribution business of ECG through a public-private partnership.
We are looking for somebody who will manage ECG, who will operate ECG, and who will carry out investments in ECG over the time frame. And so what the concessionaire is bringing is that he's bringing in capital. He is going to bring in arranged capital, much needed capital, to be able to improve the existing system that we are. ECG requires replacement of obsolete equipment, so the concessionaire will bring in that capital. Secondly, the concessionaire will bring in people who have got the technical expertise to be able to run enterprises like ECG. I'm talking about distribution enterprises so they are bringing in they are also bringing in technology. We have to have technology that will address issues of commercial losses, the issue of theft in electricity and many other areas. The concessionaire will bring in that technology and any other interventions and tried methods that they have tried in other areas which have worked. We are fortunate to have a situation where ECG is not overstaffed. What I'm saying, when you do a general review, unlike other organizations, when you are doing reforms, you know that they are already overstaffed. And so right from the very beginning, you know that you will have to lay off staff. In the case of ECG, fortunately for us, the organization is not overstaffed. And therefore, we do not foresee retrenchment. There may be people within ECG who on their own may decide that they don't want to work for the new concessionaire, and we will have to put in arrangements in place. But currently, we don't have a retrenchment program because CCG is not overstaffed.
Well, we still have much more on that particular story, but let's just hold on to that and cross over and speak to my colleague Matilda from Ghana on the story we are following, where we are told that the Ghana Registered Nurses Association has actually called off, not called off, they have actually suspended their industrial action. That's their strike. Let's get more on this. Matilda Omega joins me live now over the phone. So, Matilda, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Exactly. So, let's seek this clarification. They haven't called it off. They have just suspended it.
They've only suspended the strike action to see that the promises given by government, the assurance that monies have been released for their payment, will be respected. So these monies are reflecting in the accounts. In fact, all of them in the accounts. That's when they can fully say we have called off the strike. But for now, it's just a suspension of the strike.
So what does this mean? So they have suspended the strike. Does it mean they are going back to work, or they are still going to stay at home till their monies are paid?
No, they are supposed to resume work tomorrow, hoping that the almost 300 psychiatric nurses will begin receiving their money, and as well as the close to 8,000 members of the Coalition of Unpaid Nurses and Midwives Association will also be receiving their money by the close of October, as said by government. I have with me one of the leaders to get further details on. So, Douglas, you are one of the leaders. Tell us, the last time we spoke, you were so critical that until these monies reflect in your account, that's when you resume work. Have yours reflected already?
No, please, not all of us. So that's the colleagues that we have at the mental hospital.
Okay, so what is the motivation now? Why did we decide to call the strike? Because we've been saying over the period that because there's so many of the full assurance coming from government.
Yes, we decided to just suspend the strike based on the advice given to us by our mother association. We respect our mother association, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, very well, and then we can't disobey them. So we sat down, and then they brought out their evidence. That they have the fact that they have that definitely, by the ending of this month, October, and then everyone, and I mean everyone, will be fully paid. Will be fully paid, and not partially. That's why we decided to pay it to them and then suspend but not call off the strike.
So the suspension is as a result of the calls from the mother body, not the threat by government or the assurance given by government.
Not at all.
Why?
Not at all.
Why is that so?
It doesn't trigger us. We don't see anything that's so odious from the government, because the information that's coming from them is quite unfortunate. So that the Home Minister of Health can say that our strike is illegal. If you have employed me for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you're not paying me, is that legal or illegal? What does the Constitution say about it? And I'm now acting prior to.
Okay.
He is the spokesperson for the Coalition of Unpaid Nurses and Midwives Association here at the conference center.
All right, Matilda, thank you very much for that. But can you just recap a bit of what Mr. Douglas mentioned earlier? We lost you at a point. He was saying that they are back. They are going to return to work not because government threatened them, but because of the calls by their mother body. Is that the case?
They tell me that it is because of the respect that they have for the mother body, which is the Ghana Registered Nurses Association. It is all because of the respect they have for the association, not because of the threats coming from government or the assurances coming from government. They don't trust government any longer. So they are hoping that as their mother body has promised to keep this negotiations they already began with government, that their money to be reflected in their account by the close of the month. So for them, it's only a suspension. They would completely call it off after October when these money reflects in their account.
Okay. So when are they going back to their posts?
Effective tomorrow. They are supposed to be at the ward.
Okay, so tomorrow morning you're supposed to see them there. Thank you very much. So, but finally, before you go, so what happens should their monies not hit their accounts by end of October? Do they hit the streets again?
They won't hit the streets again. Now, for that one, they would be the Ghana Registered Nurses Association is going to give them the full back. You know, this strike, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association is not really in support of their action, but the president, Kufuor Asante-Kotto, has assured that if these monies do not reflect by October as set by government, then they will give them the full backing to begin the industrial action.
Many thanks for your time, Matilda Omega. That's health correspondent Matilda Omega, bringing us up to speed on that particular action taken by the striking nurses who tell us that, well, they are calling off, well, sorry, not calling off, they are suspending their strike following calls by their mother body, the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, for them to do such an action. And they are saying that should the monies not hit their accounts by close of October as promised by government, they would have no option than to go back to their earlier threats and stay out, boycott work actually. But let's go back to the ECG story we were doing earlier. And the Member of Parliament from Price was Seth Champon says the partnership being sought for ECG is not what will give Ghanaians relief unless the appropriate investment funds are pumped into the sector. He was speaking this morning on the AM show.
I'm happy that gradually the energy sector is expanding. When this deregulation exercise commenced, people felt people were just trying to offer jobs for themselves. But truly, if we have to be as a middle-income country and run this country profitably, for everybody to live comfortably, you need a lot of private injection. Unfortunately, the approach is not the best for the government of the day. Every person sees them as a social person and as a social-minded entity trying to cede off government property to private enterprise is something that is not too, comfortable for them. But to a person like me, who is more business-oriented, if that is what is going to offer us the best of service, because I don't think sleeping in darkness for 3 years is something that every Ghanaian wish. I don't think my colleague sleeps when he hears us talk about don't or no. So we need to find an answer. And if this is going to offer us a solution, then we should all run for it. However, my concern is that if ECG needs 200 million annually to be able to run efficiently, and then we are only going to be offered.
Now we're talking about $200 million.
Exactly,
not
$200 million.
Not even Ghana.
I'm sorry. And then we are saying that America is offering us through the compact 300 million for the power sector. I think in totality, Ghana's compact is around close to 500. So if we are going to spend about 300 of it for ECG, and listen attentively to my analysis, if we say they require 200 annually, is 300 enough for us to cede off our stake as a shareholder? I don't know of the agreement. Agreement is not properly spelled out now. So once we get into the proper meat, we'll then see the commitment of government and then the controlling interest, because in the agreement, you still would have to have a controlling interest.
Minister of State in charge of public-private partnership, Rashid Pelpo, meanwhile says the partnership for the concessionaire will build the capacity of the Electricity Company of Ghana, have a stake in the business and share the risk as well.
Efficiency and drive, which normally you don't find in government setups or in public setups. So I think that we should be looking at it positively and see how we can benefit out of it. Essentially, what it is that when a third party comes in, especially in a private sector, public-private sector initiative, it's coming in for a long period, not just a short time before they leave. You know, it's coming in for a long span of time. It's also going to take a long, it's going to have a change in the structure of business for a very long time. It's no longer going to have an ECG that is completely a government-owned company, but it's now going to be some shares. I mean, some shares of government will have to be permanently given out, so that you don't have a situation where they just come in as managers and go back after some time. They will have a stake in the business. They will have to share the risks. They will have to inject resources, not just once, but over a period of time. This whole thing is about business. It's not also about somebody standing outside and saying, do it and let's see. It's about an organic whole, government made up of, you know, all the organs of government, and he belongs to one of the organs. And he has admitted that it is in his interest and the general interest of us all to see a successful process so that we all benefit out of it. You know, this trend of thought must be encouraged so that we don't see people at the fringes hoping that there will be a collapse of the center and then you start coming to build, which is going to be tedious and sometimes will result in multiple failures, not just for one generation, but for generations in a very long time.
Now, the Judicial Service staff implicated in the latest corruption scandal will face the investigative committee set up by the Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood today. The committee is chaired by the Judicial Secretary Alex Opokwe-Champon and made up of some members of the Judicial Service. Over 180 judicial staff of the service were caught on camera, allegedly taking bribes and demanding for sex to influence judgment by acting as middlemen for some judges. Now, some of the indicted judicial workers have already watched the investigative video capturing the alleged corrupt acts. 22 magistrates and 7 High Court judges have also already been suspended by the Chief Justice. Meanwhile, the Ghana police have actually initiated criminal investigations into bribery allegations against 34 judges and magistrates implicated in the investigative report by Anas Harimaya Anas. Now, this means that more than 100 members of staff of the Judicial Service will also be investigated in the coming days. Now, 13 High Court judges and 21 Circuit Court judges and magistrates would also be probed. Now, joining me over the telephone lines now is Joseph Benefo Dakwa. He's the Public Relations Officer of the Criminal Investigations Department. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you.
So, what exactly is the police investigating, really?
Thank you very much. As you have indicated, we are investigating the Anas tape involving the judges, as you have already indicated, the 13 High Court judges and the 21 Circuit Court and Magistrate judges, and then additionally about 100, staff, members of staff of the Judicial Service. So we have launched investigation into this anarchy. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Dako, I'm listening to you.
Yes, and that's what we are investigating, the anarchy involving the judges, the 13 High Court judges and the 21 Circuit.
So you are going to investigate by... Okay, with your investigations, obviously, you are going to interrogate these judges and magistrates who have actually been accused. Is that the case?
Certainly.
But already there's a process going on. Why not wait till that process is done before you commence with yours?
Well, that process is independent of ours. Ours is criminal investigation. And we are the CID, the Criminal Investigation Department. And we have our duty to perform, and it's independent of whatever is going on elsewhere.
I see. Interesting. It's interesting you mentioned this, but already we were told that some members of your outfit, some police personnel, were also implicated in this scandal. Why not start with them?
Oh, if you read the Daily Graphic report today, as my Director General gave Commissioner of Police, Mr. Prosper Agbo, they were the first people we started with. And as I speak to you, the 8 policemen involved are on police inquiry bail. We have their statements. We started with them because they are our own. It was easy to get them. So we started with them. And as I speak to you, they are on bail.
So you are saying those 8 police persons indicted in this particular scandal are on police inquiry bail?
Certainly.
Okay. Do we know whether or not... okay, you haven't concluded investigations on that particular, so maybe I would have to drop that particular question. But again, for the other persons we speak of, the magistrates and the High Court and the judges who have been implicated, when are you looking to commence investigations, full-scale investigations into the alleged acts?
We have commenced investigations.
Oh, commenced.
We have written to the judges. They have responded positively. And as I speak to you, this week, 2 of them are reporting to us. And then from next week, the rest will follow suit.
Who are these 2 that are reporting to you?
I don't readily have their names here, but I will get it and let you know later. So the rest will follow from next week. So we have already started investigation into the issue.
So far, what have you gathered in your investigations?
Thank you very much. I think that is for police consumption. When we finish, we will give a report and you will be given a copy of the report.
Interesting. So how soon should we be looking at getting this report from the police?
That is when we complete investigation. You see, it's very difficult to give a time bound for investigation. Investigation, it takes a lot.
Okay, so point is we don't know when exactly we are going to finish with this investigation.
Yeah.
So, some would say, just like every other investigation the police usually indulges in, particularly when it has to do with people, with investigating yourself, basically.
Come again, come on. I didn't
I'm saying,
that question.
some would say that usually the police will keep on saying, okay, but when it has to do with issues that concern the police, they would say, yes, we are investigating, and we never hear anything of it. Could this not be a repetition of such a thing?
I'm surprised you are saying you never hear the end of our investigation. If you have been following our issues, other policemen who were involved or in other criminal activities, and we investigate them, we bring the report, those who are dismissed, those who are interdicted, those who are suspended, those who are... I'm very surprised you are saying that you never get to this.
I'm not the one saying. I'm just playing back what a lot of people concerns people usually share, that's all.
Then I've expected that you correct them, because you are the people who give the information. We give you the information. Those we interdict, those we dismiss, we bring them in the papers everywhere. So I would have expected that when they are giving the wrong impression, we tell them that those we have the report, we saw that they published the names of those who were interdicted, those who were dismissed, etc., etc.
I see. Thank you very much. But just before we go, what has become of the investigations you started as to the police scam issue that came up a while ago?
Which of the police scam?
The police scam. The one where one of your police commanders was actually indicted for some wrongdoings also.
You are not specific, so I don't know exactly which of these issues you are talking about. But whenever we finish, you see, the criminal investigation department, where in the justice system, everybody has its own role to play. Ours to investigate, ours to come out with the facts in the issue. Then after that, we write our report and send it to the AG's office, where he advised as to what should be the next line of action. So when we finish our investigation, we are done. The rest, we send it to the AG's office for AG to advise. So that's normally what happens.
Many thanks for your time, sir, on the show. Really appreciate it. And Joseph Benefodakwa is Public Relations Officer of the Criminal Investigations Department. He joined us over the telephone, giving us some more on that particular investigations. Well, he says that those investigations have already commenced, has to do with those implicated in the Anas expose. We're taking a break here on News Desk. We'll return shortly with some sports.